Hey, what's going on, guys? Steve Halverson here, fundmoreloans.com. I wanted to give you a little bit more of a high-level overview of this funding funnel strategy. You kind of saw some of a little bit of a deeper dive into the analytics and the strategy, and what the previous video kind of went over the parameters and the targeting and things of that nature. And so I wanted to actually give you a little bit more high-level overview of what an actual funnel looks like and how you might be able to implement something like this in your business. And so we're going to kind of start here with a blank template and kind of build out the funnel so you can see all the moving pieces and see how this whole thing comes together. And so as you kind of saw in the previous video, you saw the inside the Facebook ad account. And so that's really where we're going to start this thing, is with some type of a Facebook ad campaign. So I'm actually going to rename this Facebook ad. And that's really where that's the top of your funnel, if you will. That's the starting point. That's kind of the gasoline that we're going to pour on this thing to drive those results, drive that targeting, drive those your ideal clients, your ideal potential clients through your sales process, with the end result being, over here at the end. We're just going to kind of map out a machine that pushes out funded loans, funded deals on the other end. And so we're going to start with our ad, and then what the ad is going to do, you almost want to look at this whole process as almost like a filter. Rather than thinking of it as attracting, we're actually filtering out people. So that way, it's almost like reverse psychology. We're almost telling people to go away that don't fit exactly the ideal person that you're looking for. So that's why we always ask the question, who's your perfect customer? So we can find out who that is and build this whole machine around that ideal target, that might be a marketing company, you might be lending to manufacturing companies, things of that nature. So it just depends on who you're going after, is how we would kind of build out this landing page. And just to give you a little bit more detail, the kind of landing page that we're using is considered a website, but it's not a traditional website in the sense of, it doesn't have like an about me page, or there's not multiple links to click. There's literally two things to click on. You might hear this called a single purpose landing page. The reason why is because it's very simple, very easy for the client to understand exactly what you want them to do. And they're going to click on it to take the next step, which is like one button. You're going to click the button. And you could have a second one. You could have like a click to call button, or if have your phone number up there as like a secondary call to action. But there's really one thing to do. They can either contact you or they can leave. And so that's what we're going to do, is we're going to take this ad traffic here, and we're going to drive it towards this sales page, which is the start of your funnel. That Facebook ad, and that's what you want to do with all your traffic sources. This could be manual. You could be shaking hands at an event. You always want to use the sales page as your starting point for all your traffic, because it's going to make the process easier for your clients to really understand what you do, what you offer, and it just makes the whole experience of working with you much easier. So if you send someone to a traditional website and they go there, you're bleeding money, because you're not really giving the person a strong call to action, a strong request for them to be able. You're not making it easy on them to do business with you. You're giving them a bunch of information that they might not need or want, and they just get click happy. And then if they don't, get their question answered, they're just going to leave and go do something else. So that's why we always make these funnels very simple. It's a very effective way to get your brand out there, get your company out there, get in front of the right deals that you want to fund more of. And so we're driving this Facebook traffic into your landing page, into your sales page, and then from there, depending on what you're asking for, you're typically going to ask for a name and an email address, maybe a phone number on this page. We call it short form. You're not going to be asking for a lot of information. At this point, we call them a warm lead, because they've essentially opted in. They've requested information. Maybe they're kind of thinking about getting funding. They want to look at some numbers. They're not totally sure about applying yet. They just want to get, a lot of people are like, what's the rate? What's the terms? And of course, we always have to tell them, well, you got to apply to get that, right? And so part of this will take care of some of that for you, because once they opt in, what we're going to actually do is drive them to another page Now this could actually be, a lot of companies now are doing online applications. So you can definitely, integrate whatever, process you already have. Like if someone calls you and they say, I'm just going to apply online, if you have a link for that, we can integrate that into this as well. But for this, we're just going to call this pre-application, because this pre-application is going to ask for more information. Company size, how long in business, revenue numbers, things of that nature. Give the person the next steps of what they need to apply. So by the time they get to here, if they fill this out, we would call that a red hot lead, because by here, they are wanting money. We know they want money because they're putting, personal information on your site so they can get, pre-qualified or some type of a funding offer or good faith estimate from you to figure out what you can offer them for their business. So they're putting in loan amount, they're putting in all this information in here. And if someone takes, however long it takes to apply, 5 minutes in most cases to fill out all their information, they're vested in learning more information from you. So we always call them a red hot lead once they get to the pre-application phase, because by this point, if they've put in enough information, your team is going to be now getting emails with a fairly robust set of information that you should be able to run through your process and get some type of a funding estimate or a quote or some type of information that typically you would be delivering either over the phone or manually through email or some form like that. And so what happens is at that point, we're going to drive them to some sort of a phone call. Now, based on where we're at right now, for all intents and purposes, the funnel has done its job. It's produced a phone call for you of someone that's put in a bunch of information requesting money. Now, however, we got to look at some other things here, because not everybody's going to go through that path. You're going to lose people at every step, right? If you put this ad in front of 100,000 people, and 5,000 people put their information in the sales page, you might get 2,000 that actually go through the application phase. So people are gonna drop off. That's why I like to call it a filtering process. You're almost filtering out people that may not be serious about this. So that way you're spending most of your day over here in the hot area, just dealing with hot leads that have really raised their hand or are desperate for cash. Now, when these people fall off, what happens is when they put in their information over here, what we're actually going to do is we're going to store all that data in a CRM. We're going to build you one. It's custom for you based on your business. Now, this is not called a business card. We're going to call this a CRM. Because again, once they put their name and email in there, we've got them. Because what happens is now we can follow up with them. So once they go to the sales page, they're going to go over here. The CRM is automatically going to store that information, and then we can follow up with them. And the way we follow up with them is we hook them into some sort of an autoresponder, text messages, emails, ringless voicemails, things of that nature. And so what's happening is the people that didn't make it all the way through, as you well know, in the funding business, a lot of times people know they need money and they just get distracted. They didn't fill out a box, or they didn't get enough information filled out that you need to get them that pre-qualification. And so a lot of the times they'll go here, they'll request information, and they won't actually apply. And so the whole idea is to use this follow-up system to stay on top of them and drive them back into where we want them to be, which is applying. And so the CRM, the reason why we use a CRM for that is because it manages all those prospects, and you can actually log in when you want and see in real time what's going on with your deals. The people that are, let's just call this a warm lead, and we'll call this a hot lead. So all the warm leads that requested information but didn't apply yet, we now follow up with them with text messages, emails, and retargeted, more ads. Because Facebook will tell us who's clicking on the ad, so we know by using Facebook's process that Facebook will tell us the people that landed here but didn't go here yet. So we know just from the way Facebook does their process that we have all that data at our fingertips. And so what happens is now we can essentially just everything you see here outside of the phone call is automated. All this stuff is set up in a way that it just runs and runs and runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's almost like having 10 prospecting salespeople on your team without the overhead, and they never take breaks. So that's what makes this so powerful. Now, obviously, you want to be spending your time over here in the hot range with the hot leads. Most people do. I know I did when I was in the funding world and funded loads every day. But there's also an element of sometimes the text, the email, and the Facebook retargeting. Sometimes that just won't it won't do its job. I mean, it's still going to. You're still going to convert at a high level. You don't necessarily have to do this, but for best results, it's always a good idea to add a manual element here on the other side. So it's like kind of like your warm leads that haven't applied yet. You can either take yourself or a entry-level salesperson that's on your team, maybe somebody that's in training, or if you have multiple stages in your company. I mean, if you're a one-man army, fine. You can just wait until there's lulls in the day and you've got some downtime. Make some calls over here, and the people that fill that information, just so you can, touch them, leave them a voicemail, let them know that you're here to help them. Hey, you fill out some information on my site, and I was looking to get you a quote, and I don't have enough information yet to get you a good faith estimate. And so you can make some money on this side as well, just by following up with all the warm leads that actually requested information. So you can, let the funnel do its thing as well, but you can also kind of go in there and see. The CRM will tell you, what links they've clicked on, what action they've taken, so that way you can kind of, segment them by level of heat and activity, and then follow up with the ones that have a higher likelihood of actually applying. And so, a lot of guys like to, assign that, like I said, to a lower level or an entry level, salesperson or a newbie, so to speak, or if, like I said, if you're more of an advanced, you've been in the business for a while and you know exactly what you're doing, then, like I said, if you get, to where some of this activity slows down a little bit and you've got an hour to kill, jump in here and make 10 phone calls to these people and turn that into some business as well. So that's pretty much the overview of what a funnel looks like. There are some moving pieces here, but we build this as one cohesive unit, and that all of these things that you see here outside of the phone, that's you. That's the most important part of this whole thing, is the phone call, of course. The sales funnel doesn't work without having a good person behind it, so you got to be on your game to make this whole thing work. But as you can see, it's a pretty simple thing. I mean, there are some moving pieces here, but it's not as complex as a lot of people think when they first hear the word, automated marketing funnel or sales funnel. There is a lot of information and unfortunately misinformation out there in the marketplace. So hopefully this clears that up for you. Yeah, like I said, it's a pretty simple thing once you put it all together the right way and turn it on. Once you kind of build out this machine and have all this stuff, all this content built out, you literally just take your Facebook ads and you pour gas on it and you scale it up as high as you want to get the, get the results that that you're looking for. So that's pretty much it as far as the high-level overview of what a sales funnel is and what it looks like for funding companies. And so if this looks like something you'd like to explore further, you'll actually see a little button or some arrows, and my calendar is right below this video. So you could actually, if you wanted to book a call with me, you can just do that right below this video. Pick a time that works for you. We'll jump on a call. I can answer all your questions, see if this is something that you'd like to explore further. But thanks for checking all this out. I look forward to talking with you soon. Have a great day, have a great month, and happy funding.